pointage.
Il est passé super, l'artiste. Super, encore un but sensationnel. That's a brilliant bit of follow-up play by Mahe. Oh my goodness me, what a shot.
Sagosen setter det hen! Han setter den! Vi er i semifinale igjen!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Uninformed Handball Hour. It's our first of the big previews for the EHF Euro 2026. We've been teasing you along already this week on Patreon, patreon.com/handball hour, with a little interview we had with Mikael Appelgren, who's looking fit and ready for the championship. Also, a preview for our Fantasy League game on Handball Hub. But now we get into the nitty-gritty, into the groups. And what we're going to do in the build-up is split it into two main previews. One today with groups A, D, and F, just to make things a little bit more complicated. And then we'll have the other groups early next week. Joining us will be Björn Pazen and Zika Bogdanovic. And we have Alex Kulash here as well, of course. Alex, now that we're getting into the nitty-gritty here, you're starting to feel the hype. We're still over a week away. We're very punctual this year, I have to say. It feels good.
Yeah, it does feel good. This is a third podcast prior to the European Championship. And honestly, as we've looked at this tournament, and I think a lot of people have been saying it, from Alfred Gislason to Nikolai Jakobsen, this is one of the hardest championships we've ever seen, with the quality of teams top to bottom at an absolutely insane level. And the fact that you have these groups smashed up in such a way that, Denmark, France, Germany are all on one side of the draw, competing for two semi-final places. Even the top teams are worried from the very start, because one little slip up is going to cost a team a semi-final spot. So I think this is a European Championship unlike we've ever seen, because I really truly believe that there's surprises to be had. There's tough games, absolutely top to bottom, and teams are going to start feeling the pressure. And as much as we lament the fact that Denmark dominate over and over again, they haven't won a European Championship since 2012.
That's right. This is their missing piece. This is the missing jewel in the crown for this nation, as a handball nation, and for the top players, the Nielsens, the Pitlicks, the Gietzels of this world. If we're talking about their legacy in 10 years' time, they've got to start winning this tournament. And as we get into the previews itself and the groups, key thing to remember, it's 24 teams, 6 groups, and only the top 2 in each of the groups go through to the main round. So it is proper cutthroat from the very beginning. In a couple of the groups in particular that we're going to speak about today, they are very wide open.
Before getting into it, we should mention in more detail about our Patreon. Of course, it is a great time. It is a great time to join us on Patreon. As you said, we already have 2 podcasts up for Patreon-only members, an interview with Mikael Appelgren, as well as our Fantasy League. So we have partnered with Handball Hub, a new app which has a Fantasy League game. So if you want to participate, you can download the Handball Hub app and join the Handball Hour League with the code 666444. But only if you're a Patreon member, that will be the only way you'll be able to win a prize, a mystery prize that Chris, as always, will scavenge at the European Championships across the different venues. We'll unveil that as the tournament goes on. But that's always a lot of fun. And not only that, we have a couple of pro memberships up for grabs for Handball Hub, which is a nice app, and the Fantasy League is a lot of fun. So join us on Patreon to win a prize and listen to that fantasy preview. We of course have our Discord, where a lot of chatter about this championship has already started, and you can basically tell us which players you want to get interviews from, what topics to cover, and we will address it. So all of that goes through the Discord and the plenty of bonus episodes. So Patreon, patreon.com/handball hour. For just €3 a month, you can sign up for tons of content. And if you really, really like us, you can also sign up for an annual membership, which gives you a discount on this. And it's all ad free. You would have noticed that on the free feed, we now do have ads. So Patreon is completely ad free. So €3, come on. Absolute bargain.
Come on.
Sign up. Come on.
That's it. I know. Without further ado, let's jump in to groups A, D, and F with Zika Bogdanovic and Björn Pazen. Joining us on the show to preview groups A, D, and F, just a week ahead of the EHF Euro 2026. We have Björn Pazen representing all of the German-speaking handball nations and random facts about Italy, I'm sure, at some point later on. Björn, how are you?
Hi, Chris. I'm fine.
And of course, to represent the Balkan nations and maybe even more random facts from some nations, we have Zika Bogdanovic from Balkan Handball and Handball Planet. How are you, Zika?
Nice to see you and to speak a bit about Euro 2026.
And you just had your Christmas yesterday, so I hope you had enjoy that day. And now ready to jump in with us. Yeah, I think we'll start with the headline group in terms of your two respective nations in Group A, with Germany, Spain, Austria, and Serbia. And starting with you, Björn, on the Germans, how much expectation do you think there actually is on this Germany team to go all the way to another final after what they managed at the Olympics not so long ago?
I met the team yesterday. I'm preparing for the test match in Croatia, and I had a long meeting with the team. And the interesting fact is they're completely relaxed. This is untypical for a German team. When it comes to a big tournament, they're relaxed. They have a lot of confidence. And they say, maybe you read it, what Alfred Gislason said, this is the hardest tournament ever. But they say none of the teams we will face wants to face us. So we have the confidence that we can go through. In contrast to last year, all players are fit. Last year, there were so many little minor or major injuries, or they came sick to the preparation. All the players are fit, and they look really full of energy.
Is there any difference from the squad last year for Germany? I think the real, from my mind, kind of Gergic is the real development of the squad, but is it essentially kind of the same squad that's been together for a long while, and that's one of the strengths for Germany going into this championship?
So I would say 75% of the squad is the same squad as in the last 2 years, but there are some interesting players coming in. What Alfred Gislason said when he announced his players for the Euro, said our full focus is on the defense this year, and this meant that he nominated 2 new players for the defense. One is Tom Kiesler from Gummersbach, and the other one is Mathis Langhoff from Berlin. So they are 23, 24 years old, and they really played well in defense in Bundesliga. But the one, I would say, the Krigic is known now, but the one who plays his first major tournament and will be in the focus of interesting might be Miro Schlurov from Gummersbach, because he played incredibly in Bundesliga and the European League last season, and he comes with such a freshness, and he's a player that is strong in defense when he plays together with his teammate Julian Köster, but also in attack. He's an option for both sides of the backcourt. So he can play as left wing, as a right-hander, but he can also play on the right back position, putting together everything with Renas Ustjins and Franz Semper. So, and he will be the one, I would say, have an eye on him, because he will bring the team ahead.
Are there any parts of this team that you're slightly worried about, Björn, with the squad that has kind of formed quite well over the last couple of years, as you were talking about there, adding a couple of players now for the defensive side of things, maybe a little bit inexperienced at international level? Is that maybe they won't be the key players for the defense, might be coming in for some specific roles? But overall, what do you think of the squad itself? Are you quite happy with it, or are there some areas you think that might be exposed over the next few weeks?
So the thing is that the only discussion on the squad was the left wing position when Bob Hanning, as managing director of Füchse Berlin, were a little bit angry that Tim Freihofer was not nominated, but instead it was Rune Darmke. But in general, this squad is really strong. And when you say international inexperience, you're partly right. With Tom Kiesler, you're right. But Mattes Langhoff, since his 18 or 19, he played European League or Champions League with Füchse Berlin, and he played a really strong first half of the Bundesliga season, also in defense and attack. So I think there's not the problem of inexperience as such for those four players which are new. They have not played a major tournament with the A team. So Mattes Langhoff was 2023. He was under 21 world champion, and he's experienced of those tournaments. So he's only 23 years old, but he knows when the big fishes are coming, what to do. They have the role in really in general. So when you see about the center defenses, normally it's Johannes Goller and Julian Köster, but you can use the Gummersbach couple of Köster with Kiesler, and you can bring him Langhoff together with Goller or Fischer. They played together in the under 21 squad. So I think the experience is good. When it comes to action, it's about the goalkeepers. So Germany with Andy Wolf and David Späth, they're really strong. The defense looks good. And this year, for the first time, they can choose between at least 2 or 3 rows for the position attack in the backcourt. And Yuri Knorr has the experience from Aalborg now, and he will bring much more speed, I would say, as in the last tournaments.
Zika, looking at this group, Germany, Spain, Austria, and Serbia, it's probably one of the toughest groups in the whole championship. How, from a Serbian perspective, is the team looking at this group, and what are the chances in each game?
Yeah, you always, as a media guy, and always when you work with the national team, you always heard that sentence, yeah, we believe we can, we believe we can. But actually, I don't think that we have such a high expectations in this group. Of course, we have some chances, but Serbia is a question mark, definitely, for all of us, because we have a new coach, Raul Gonzalez, who is a world-class name, who came to Serbia, who live in Serbia last 6 months. He's only focused on Serbian national team and working also with the younger categories of the national teams. But we had some problems with the roster. We lost some players in the meantime. So, as I would like to say, we will have untypical Serbia in Herning. We will not have these 2-meter tall guys, shooters like we had before, like Ilic, Vujin, Peruničić, and so on. We will have light back guys, backline players, more like Slovenia. And I'm wondering also what Raul Gonzalez will make in these few weeks and what he can prepare, because in the last few weeks we lost also 2 left backs which are important for the team, Miloš Kos and Marko Milosavljević, who was in Nantes last year and this year in Kriens Lucerne. So our backline potential is weakened. So we have some young players which are not still discovered by top European nations. Maybe that is the chance for Serbia. We will have only 2 matches prior to the championship against Poland, and both matches will be not open for the media and for the public. So actually we will see the team and what Raul prepared for his nation against Spain on January 15 in Herning. So it's tough to speak about now, but I'm sure that Raul, he knows why he decided to keep door closed for these 2 matches, because he knows very well his colleague Jordi Ribera in Spain. So maybe we will have more information about Spain than Spain will have information about Serbia. So basically, we don't have such a quality, let's say, to think that we can progress to the main round. But I'm sure that we will play some good matches, and I'm sure that we can beat someone. And traditionally Serbia played very good first match and the opener is very good for Serbia. We have problem to keep that in the during the tournament, but I'm optimistic in that opener against Spain.
It's a team that I think has really frustrated me the most over the last few years. We've always gone into these tournaments with kind of a sneaking suspicion that this could be the year, like particularly at the European Championship, and it's quite remarkable. They've had just 3 wins since they won silver in 2012 in this tournament. Always kind of there's always seemed to be some kind of reason as well under the time with Tony Girona, the players not being there or not clicking. Some things I've heard on record and off record about the team, but the quality is definitely in some areas there. I mean, there is some world-class talent in the team, and maybe having this secretive approach under the new coach is a good way to go, because it always seems to be something that just doesn't go well for them. But they beat Spain not so long ago in the qualification
2 times
tournament, right? Twice. So in that sense, there's something to look at, and in a group like this, maybe it only takes 1 win to get through. It could be a really tight group with Austria and Spain in there. On the Austrians, Björn, a team that Germany know all too well, probably a thorn in the side of this German team. They also played each other in qualification. One of them was a very good game, a drawn game, and it feels like longer ago that game at the championship in Germany, which was an absolute dogfight of a game. I think the Germans have progressed since then. What do you make of the Austrian team?
One thing I want just to mention is when you look at this Group A, you have 1 Icelandic coach and 3 Spanish coaches. So this is the thing. And I was talking with Alfred Gislason. He was player in Spain, so he knows Spanish handball also. He said when you face 3 Spanish coaches with these 3 teams, none of them plays the 100% Spanish style. He says 95% is done by Jordi Ribera in Spain. And in Serbia, Raul Gonzalez plays a different Spanish way, but more focusing on the backcourt. And when it comes to Iker Romero as the Austrian coach, he said, untypical for any Spanish coach. He reduces the speed. He tries to have long attacks, long position attacks, and focusing on the line player. So when you see Austria now, they play a different way that they did before with Ales Pajovic, who is now in Flensburg. The coach, Ales Pajovic, had finished his stint when he finished the qualification as number 2 in the German groups. And of course, the squad almost remained the same, but Iker Romero has a different approach. And funny enough, Iker Romero is also coach in Germany in Bietigheim, so in the 2nd division team. So he knows everything about the German team, of course. And when you see Austria, it's really, they have become a strong opponent to Germany. I think these 2 teams played 10 times in the last 4 years or something like this, every qualification, every tournament. And you talk about the match in Vienna, and in Vienna, they were really close to beat Germany. I mean, you see, Germany had not been beaten in any Euro qualifier since 2015. This would have been a historic result, but in the end, they made a draw. So Austria rely on mostly on players who play for German clubs like Nikola Bilic, like Lukas Huticek, Konstantin Möstl in the goal. Then there's Sebastian Frimmel from Pick Saget, and of course Tobias Wagner as the line player. So the main thing of the opener for Germany with Austria is there will be no secret. So the teams know so well, the coaches know well. So this will be a real tough fight. And what Alfred Gislason said before, the German goal officially is a semifinal, of course, and say if you leave only 1 point in the preliminary round, you're almost out for the semifinal. So it's the aim to win all 3 matches. And for the Austrian side, I think it's similar to Serbia. So the favorites seem to be Germany and Spain for progressing in the main round, but the Austrians also hope for a surprise. When you go back 2 years ago, they managed to kick out Spain of the main round before they made it to this main round match against Germany. They played in Mannheim, and they beat Spain in the last second, and Spain for the first time since I think 20 years missed the main round. So they know how to beat Spain with a different coach, but now they even that Ica Romero and Jordi Ribera know very well, because Ica, I think, was 1 or 2 years the team manager of the Spanish team at that time. So there might be a chance for Spain, because you don't know how strong is Spain. And then I expect an open match with Serbia and Austria. So the Austrians, they have a good run, but I saw a little bit of their preparation match here with Czech Republic.
Yeah.
The speed is really low at the moment. I don't know if this is the secret, that they speed up at the Euro, but the speed of the Austrian match is really slow when you compare it, for example, to Spain or partly to Germany. So there might be a match Austria-Serbia, something like a 21-20 or something like this.
That's what we'd like. I mean, I think with the speed, when you have a backcourt of Luka Suticek and Nikola Bilic, and at times a 40-year-old Janko Bozovic in there, you're not exactly asking for speed, are you?
Yeah. I just want to say, it really does feel like a group where everyone knows each other, as you've said. Everyone has beaten each other in the last 3 years, or at least drawn with each other. I think it's a group where you could look at it and there could be 5 draws and 1 win in this group, and we wouldn't be surprised. But maybe kind of quick word on Spain and Zika, if you want to kind of talk about this team that has been, let's say, on the down for the last couple of championships. You quickly forget that Spain won 2 European championships very recently with a very similar squad. But a bit of transition has happened. Younger players maybe haven't come through as fast as you'd want. And honestly, I'm looking at this championship right now, and I don't have Spain in a position to make a dent. But what do you think, Zika?
Yeah, me neither. For me, Germany is a clear favorite to win the group, and I don't really expect that 5 draws. Maybe it would be nice for TV commentators, but I don't expect really. I see Germany as a level up in comparison with all other teams in the group. Spain, as we all know, a lot of up and down moments in a few couple of years. We witnessed it the last 2 years. 2 years ago, when they didn't pass the group in Germany at Euro 2024. Then also World Championship, which were not good, but they had a good Olympic summer in Paris. I think that Germany began that process of putting younger guns in the team a little bit earlier than Spain, and Germany are now in the, let's say, on the level, and we are waiting for the Spain to come back to that list of the favorites. Definitely, I don't think so that they are capable to make something big, especially in the main round with Denmark, with France, with all other teams. So I don't see them in the position to play for the semifinal. But still, I'm sure that they're thinking that the main round is something what they should achieve. We will see. They have a lot of young players which have to prove their qualities on the biggest stage under pressure. Dushebaev is still there as a leader, but there are some other guns. We will see. From position of Serbia, I don't think so that they are clear favorites against Serbia. We beat them twice in the recent time. We lost this playoff for the World Championship by 1 goal. We had a last attack to take that visa for the World Championship 2025 against Spain. We beat them in qualification for this championship. So actually, I don't think that Spain will make anything big on this tournament.
Björn, you had Spain in 9th place on your power ranking, I saw on Eurohandball.com. Is that also a nice, safe place to put them? Also not mention them, but not say they're going to be in with a chance of making the semifinals.
Yeah, we just have to see 12 teams go to the main round, and there must be two which are not among the top 10. And okay, no, from my point of view, is one thing was interesting for me, because the non-nomination of the two Chikusa brothers, so they were not there. And the thing I think they talked with Thea Vekil a lot about, that they only have one real strong goalkeeper with Sergei Hernandez with them. So Corrales is out, Perez de Vargas is out. But to be honest, when you see how Hernandez performed in the last weeks, months in Magdeburg, and this is enough. So if you let him play 60 minutes, it's absolutely okay. And still, I think they come with the wings this time. So Alex Gomez is clear. But then this young Jan Barufet, who played in Melsungen last year and returned to Barcelona now, and I think he can be one of those rising stars of the Euro. So you still have both Dushibayev brothers. You still have the strategy of a 5+1 defense with a kind of sweeper in front. I agree with Zika absolutely that Germany and Spain go to the main round. Depending on the direct duel with how many points. I don't expect Spain very weak, but I don't expect them to be super strong, that they can be capable to beat Denmark or France in the main round. But they still have some interesting things like the defense, the wings, and of course, and this is one thing I want to mention for all groups. When you look on SC Magdeburg squad, I think they have 40 players at the Euro. All those Magdeburg players, no matter for which team they come, they arrive with such a confidence. They know we are the best team in the world, and we want to prove it also with our national teams. So this is, especially when we come to the Icelandic group, 1 point for Iceland is they have 3 top players of Magdeburg. And all those Magdeburg players, when you see them finishing the league or the Champions League, and I'm sure they want to show their confidence also in the Euro.
Before we move on to the other groups, maybe a quick mention, and both of you have spoken about this, the fact that these groups are in just weirdly stacked. You have groups A, B, and C all coming together in a main round group, which will potentially include 3 of the semi-finalists in the last World Championship, and Germany, who were reached such highs in the Olympics. So you could potentially have Germany, Spain, Denmark, Portugal, France, and Norway all competing for 2 spots, which is a grouping unlike we've ever seen before, and I think makes this tournament incredibly exciting. What impact do you think that has, even just from the start? Because teams are going to be, if you drop a point, you might be out of a semi-final spot. How will teams approach it, do you think, Zika?
Yeah, definitely much stronger part of the tournament. For me, Denmark is the number 1, definitely. I think that we all agree about that in Herning, in boxing. And the second place, I would say Germany. Of course, Germany or France, but if I have to choose, then I would say Germany. And in this amount of tough matches, I don't think that Norway can be serious candidate for that. Also, Spain, they can endanger someone, they can beat someone, but I don't think that they can go further. And Portugal is somewhere there, but I'm not sure that they can go far away, okay, or they can go to the semis. So Denmark definitely as a host and the best team in the world, and the second, let's say, Germany or France, but let's say because of Björn, Germany.
Thanks, Zika.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are going to move away from this side of the draw and go over to Group D now, which has Slovenia, Faroe Islands, Montenegro, and Switzerland. And Bjorn, you mentioned there, every player that goes over from Magdeburg will be full of confidence, knowing that they're part of the best team in the world. Does that count for Nicola Portner and Manuel Zehnder, who are in this Swiss team but have barely played 60 minutes between them this season?
Yeah, I would not say for Manuel Zehnder, because he's, I think he's officially still injured.
Yeah.
So I think they.
Well, he's in the squad. Is he there as a water boy, or what's going on?
I would say so. He had not played. I think he's a kind of motivational factor for the team, maybe. Yeah. So, and there's kind of his extended arm of Andy Schmid to explain some things in the team, but I don't think that he will has a lot of playing time. And when we talk about Nikola Portner, he found his role now. So he was out for 5 months with this disqualification after this doping case. To be honest, when you wake up Nikola Portner in the middle of the night, you say go in the goal. You play 20 minutes, you have to save 50% of the shots, he will do it. He's a masterclass goalkeeper. So, and the fact that he did not play that much, I think for a goalkeeper is not that big a problem. It's if you're a playmaker or left wing and you're out for 5 months, it's different when you jump into the cold water. But for him, he's such an experience. And I still remember this match when last semi-final of the Champions League Final Four from Magdeburg against Barcelona, and Sergei Hernandez started, didn't have his best day. Portner came in and saved the win. So I would say Portner is still, especially when it comes to the national team, he's the team captain of the Swiss team, and he knows the responsibility he has for the team, and this means that he will be on fire on 100%, and I'm sure you can always count on him.
Alex, you're very excited about this Swiss team. Why is that?
I'm so excited about this Swiss team. They are my dark horses for the tournament, and the fact that they're in this side of the draw, I've got high hopes for a decent position from them. You know, this is a team that has been on the precipice for a little while. They've performed quite well, and they have this kind of new generation coming through. So the likes of Sigrist and Steinarts coming through from, you know, they're 21, 20, 22 years old, still playing in Switzerland or in kind of that league, but have already signed up for their next big challenge. This is their time to break out. You know, there's a reason why, you know, Rhein Leuven have come in and bought Sigrist from the Swiss league before this championship happens, because they're expecting for big things. And unfortunately for Switzerland, the likes of, as we said, Nikola Portner hasn't been playing too much, and Manuel Zender not playing for such a long time really makes it a little bit more difficult for them. But, you know, they've beaten Croatia in a friendly. They've drawn with Germany in qualification. They've competed at that highest level. And I think this is the tournament where they're kind of really ready to break out. And Niam Leopold is the most fun player in handball right now. Just watching him use that insane wrist over and over again is going to be a lot of fun. And of course, yeah, Lucas Lauba is the player. I forgot, kind of players who are just ready to take on the highest level, and they're all there together, ready to prove that they're ready for the big stage. In my eyes, you know, they're even more appealing than the Faroe Islands to me right now.
There's some nods of approval coming from Zika's corner there. Do you share that excitement about this team with Alex?
Yeah, very, very, very interesting group, full of dark horses. I agree with him, and I'm wondering what will happen. In the moment, I don't know who is the number 1 and who is the number 4, really.
Yeah.
Because Slovenia has a lot of problems. And the latest news is that also Alex Vlah will not be available for the tournament. So he had some problem with muscle in friendly match against Kuwait. So he will be replaced with Borut Mačkovšek, the experienced one who had to get a rest after Olympic summer and so on, and to miss this championship. So Borut will come back to the team after Vlah will miss this, and Vlah is the best Slovenian scorer in the last 3 championship. So his influence on the game was huge during this Olympic summer when they played semi-final and so on. So, but there is not only about Vlah, also Miha Zarabec, Mitja Jans are not there. Dejan Bombac is not in the team.
Blago
Tinšek also. So we will see some new Slovenia, and with the biggest star in the name of Domen Makuc, future player of THW Kiel and now player of Barcelona. Now, for the first time, Makuc will have that main role, and we will see what that will bring. I saw that match against Kuwait; he scored 6-7 goals, so definitely ball will be in his hands, of course, with legendary Blaž Jans from Barcelona and so on. But still, Slovenia has a lot of potential to progress to the main round, definitely. But with these few players, especially Zarabec, Mitja Jans, and Alex Vlach, that would be the team who could, fight for the semi-final in this part of the draw. And all other teams, Switzerland. I really like Nikola Portner. He has, as you know, Serbo-Croatian origins, so we are very, let's say, good friends. And I know his motivation, how he's one handball animal from big handball family of Portner. His father was world-class player, and I know his motivation and dedication for this sport. So I'm sure that he will show to the whole world that this was a mistake what happened in his career, and I strongly believe in his sport attitude and so on. And all other teams, I don't know what is happening with Skipagotu, what is the final decision, is he ready or not? But still, with Skipagotu or without, it will be very, very interesting, as Montenegro is also always team full of fighting spirit with Didier Dinart on the bench, which is also very, very interesting combination. So I'm wondering what will happen.
What do you think of this Faroe Islands team, Bjorn? Is a team of Asho Pagatu, assuming he's recovered from the injury he had a few weeks ago, Olli Mitton and Håkon Vestav Taigam, enough to come through this group and do some damage? Like they've relied on a small group of players an awful lot. There has been some development, I think, in the team from what I've seen, and how they're maybe trusting more of the players. But there's a clear upper echelon of players that they have. Will that be enough for them to make a splash in this tournament? Because a little bit like Switzerland, the format and the way the groups have gone have never been better for a team like this to really go deep.
I tell you exactly what will be the factor that they make it to the main round is, you have in mind 52,000 people live in Faroe Islands. 7,500 of them will be in Oslo. So when you have seen the Euro in Berlin in 2024, when 5,000 were there, and make the biggest income of Berlin pubs around the arena since the Berlin Wall fall. So, and with this, I saw 200 Faroe Islands fans in Trier at the Women's World Championship, and you can guess what those 7,500 will cost in Oslo. So I'm absolutely sure Faroe Islands go through, and I think Skipagoto will be back. So he had this injury, he was out, but I think that he will be back in the team. And even more when you see the development of Olli Mitton. He was the top scorer and MVP of the Under-20 Euro, and he was the top scorer and MVP of the Under-21 World Championship. The Faroe Islands took their first ever medal, the bronze medal, last summer. And those players, this is always what Skipagotu says. We are a family. This is, the funny thing is they're really family. They're
quite literally a family.
His cousin is Olli Mitton and Jana Mitton, of course. So, and they're really all family, but they're all a handball family. And I think this spirit they have, that brings them to the main round. And interesting enough, from Alex, what he said about the Swiss team, knowing now that Alex Vlach cannot play the Euro. So, in my opinion, Faroe Islands and Switzerland can go together to the main round. Maybe they were not the favorites then in the main round in Malmö, but they can make this step. You see, Faroe Islands played their first Euro. They made their first point against Norway 2 years ago, but then they lost the last match with Poland. Yeah. So, and I think Faroe Islands are ready to do this step, especially when you have a home match. When you see the Unity Arena in Oslo, I think it fits 9,000 spectators, and 7,500 from Faroe Islands have already booked their tickets. And if they win the first match, I know those guys, they will try to get the remaining 1,500 tickets for the next 2 matches if there is still some available. So this will be a huge home crowd. They rely on their fans, and they can rely on this spirit they have in the team. So I would also say that Faroe Islands can definitely make it to the main round. And the interesting fact will be the match with Switzerland and Slovenia, because I think in this match the second team will be decided. I cannot say that much about Montenegro. The biggest star of them is, as Zika said, Didier Dinard on the bench. Vuko Borozan is back in the squad, I read, but they surprised us 4 years ago. So we have to see what happens now. So they're a little bit shaky, but I would love for the rest of the tournament, the Faroe Islands and Switzerland, so some new faces would make it to the main round.
Is Nebojša Simic back for Montenegro?
Out.
No, because I've seen pictures of him training back home, looking very skinny. He's lost a lot of weight, but not back in time.
He lost 15 kilos, I think 20, and he said that he's feeling very good and he's ready to show himself in some other way when he come back to Bundesliga. About Montenegro, they have Borozan back, but Borozan is not the same player as he was a few years ago when he was in Vardar, first time in Vardar and in Vesprem. And they have no Simic on the goal. They have no also second goalkeeper, Matovic. So they bring 2 new goalkeepers. And that one guy from Zagreb, Haris Suljevic, is a good goalkeeper, and he can be interesting to watch. He is good. He played Champions League solid this season, even in this kind of Zagreb during all these defeats. So he can be a nice solution for this team. But actually, Montenegro has some kind of quality, and they have experience, and I will not underestimate them. They can beat someone in the group, and we will see who will pay for it.
Yes. That's it. I put it very well. A super open group. And over in Group F, then we'll conclude this part of our preview with the 2 of you on this one. Hungary, Iceland, Poland, and Italy. Björn, you had Iceland in 3rd place on your power ranking. They are a team that they're a little bit like that Magdeburg were for me about 5 or 6 years ago. I kept predicting them to win the Bundesliga. They'd keep disappointing me. Then they finally did it. They only lost 1 game at the World Championship last year. It was a costly game to lose. Well, I guess you believe they are going to be making a big breakthrough here. Why do you think that is? And is the answer just, as you said earlier, Magdeburg?
Maybe it's not only this Magdeburg factor. They have a really, really strong squad. They have experience in their squad. And I only say that at one point they must go back to the semifinals. So every prediction of World Championship, European Championship says Iceland is a dark horse. For me, they are not the dark horse anymore. So Snorri Gudjonsson is now is established as a coach. And when you see only the 3 Magdeburg backcourt players, Gisli Kristjansson, Omar Ingi Magnusson, and Elvar Örn Jonsson. Then they have Trastason from Rhein-Neckar Löwen. They have the goalkeeper duo with Hallgrímsson and Gustafsson. They have strong line players with Örn Gislason. So to be honest, I'm now, and the funny thing is that Alfred Gislason says the same. The time has come for them to win a medal. So I don't copy paste Alfred Gislason, but in this case, I'm really sure that this tournament can be the breakthrough. You remember when they played in 2022 in Budapest, this COVID tournament, and they were on their way to the semifinal, and then they got, I think, 14 COVID cases in 3 days.
It was worse than that. It was Denmark losing on purpose that knocked them out.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it started with COVID and it ended with Denmark. Yeah, you're right. So I would say that the team is stable. Now it's very stable team. I saw them 2 times in Germany. First match they lost clearly. Second they won in Munich against Germany. So, and I think the time of this team has come because they have a shooting power. They have a good tactics with it. In the end, they play like Magdeburg plays. So they go on strong defense, speed, strong goalkeepers, and in the end, if nothing helps, then Kristjansson goes through and scores a goal. So for me, I really hope for those. Then they're all nice. They're always smiling. They're not this classic Viking people who are in a bad mood all the time. When they're together, they're fit as a team. So, in my opinion, they can make it to the medal.
The way you described the way they attack and Christiansen just scoring at the end reeks of a man who's watched too much Bundesliga the last year and a half.
I have to say, I fully agree with Björn on this Icelandic team. Like, they have no excuse to not make it to the semi-final. Like, for one, like in previous tournaments, they have always ended up in a really tough side of a draw. So, and they haven't made it out through various circumstances. Really, right now, they have no excuse. This is an incredible team filled with the best players in the world. And I'm particularly looking at Gisli Christiansen in this championship because I think a lot of people put him at the highest level. People compare him like top 3 player in the world. He's on the same rung as like Gisel or Dika or Putlik. People do speak of him at that highest level, and he's shown it at club level. He's obviously shown it in the Champions League, but he seems to not stand out in championships. Like he doesn't have a bad championship for sure, but if he truly is a top 3 player in the world, and I think we kind of all agree that he is, he needs to be the player that drags Iceland through to a medal. He needs to step up in the moments, and I really particularly do mean him above Omar Igni Magnusson, because I think Magnusson is just a very solid player. Like at the highest level, he is really consistent. I think it's Christiansen as the player who can take a team to a special place, and he just needs to do that, because right now it's been time and time again where we've looked at this Icelandic team and asked each other, oh, they really need Palmerson to do something. And finally, we don't say this. It's Christiansen that needs to do something. So very, very excited about this Icelandic team, and I think they can and should make a big dent.
How are you looking at this group, Zika? I mean, it seems like with Iceland, they've had some trouble with Balkan teams over the years. Thankfully for them, there's none of them in their group this year. And Italy, a team that have faced Serbia in some very interesting games in the qualification, in its own way, can be quite an open group behind Iceland, because maybe also Hungary, a side that we know show up every championship, but are always a little bit underestimated as well.
I have to agree with both of you about Icelandic chances and Icelandic potential to make something big. And we all, from this handball media part of the planet, we all need that confirmation from this Icelandic player on that national team level, that they have to show that what they are showing in Magdeburg and all other teams. And we were waiting for the Palmerson to do that in the last 10, 12 years. He didn't, but of course we now waiting for some other guys like Gisli and so on. So definitely Iceland in this part of the draw, they have no excuse to underperform and not to reach semi-final in the moment. I think with Sweden, for example, big favorite in this group with Hungary. Hungary has a stable squad, fantastic coach, many players who are playing in the best Hungarian teams, Hungarian league. Very, very good, very solid one, with a lot of players, a lot of young players who came from this system of Hungarian handball. So they miss historical opportunity to play semi-final of the World Championship. They lost 5-0 in the last 4 minutes in Zagreb Arena. So that was a tragic event for them, definitely, and something I hope that that moment didn't broke their self-confidence and motivation for big things. But I'm sure that Hungary will do a lot of good things in the future, and this is the tournament where they can play also again a big role in the main round, definitely. So, my opinion, Hungary and Iceland are going further, and Italy is okay team. It's nice to see Bob Hanning to give them that kind of visibility and chance to progress in the German teams. But I'm not sure that they are capable to beat one of these two teams. And Poland is still team who is, I don't know how to describe them. They have some potential, but they are still far away from serious things.
They are the only team in this group who currently hold a major international title, the President's Cup.
Yeah, from the last year.
which they won in a penalty shootout against the USA last year. So that says a lot about.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about where.
They lost Kamil Shipshak, so they maybe won the President Cup trophy, but they lost the biggest star of the team. So it will be really, really tough to to fill that gap in the future.
What about Italy and Big Bob Hanning? Keep it going.
What the hell is he cooking up? Like, what in this warm-up game? They were playing without a line player. They were playing a 3-1 defense. Has Bob Hanning just gone mad?
I would say this is tactics. So when you see a little bit in Bundesliga, some of the teams, especially Stuttgart, started their tactics playing without line player and 4 backcourt players. This was also yesterday in the kind of tactical corner with the German assistant coach if Germany want to play. We still have 3 good line players, so we don't need to play this. So
Germany can play with 3 backcourt players and 3 line players instead of.
I would say this is a classic Bob Hanning. He wants to do some fints to the other teams. I fully agree with Zika. It's nice to have Italy back on the court. It's such a big nation without a big handball history. So they knocked out Montenegro. They played a strong World Championship last year. They made it to the Euro again for the first time qualification in '98. They were the hosts. So, and they have some interesting players like Domenico Ebner or Brandner. But still, when you see Domenico Ebner is the 6th best goalkeeper in Bundesliga, but his club is the last in Bundesliga. So he was playing in Leipzig. So and he will leave the team. So there are still some interesting players. It's good that those players got the chance to play in German league. But compared to Iceland and Hungary, there's no chance. So I'm sure they beat Poland because Poland is really on the way down. When you see the last years, there's no young players coming anymore from the Polish club. So and the more old players leave, then they really have a problem to have a backbone of the team. But yes, but Italy is okay. Of course, it's when you talk with Bob Hanning, I don't get money. I only want to do development, and I think this is right because I don't think the Italian Federation is the richest federation on earth. So, but the development in the individual development of the players, it's great that they leave Bozen and the other Italian clubs and make it to 2nd division or lower ranked Bundesliga clubs. So they have Brandner in the Füchse. The Brandner's father is the assistant coach of Hanning. So it's also a little bit family business. But I don't think they can endanger Hungary or Iceland.
It's a long-term plan for Füchse Berlin to establish a team in Italy. Füchse Milano or something.
Füchse Milano, yeah.
Björn Pazen, Zika Bogdanovic, thank you so much for your time. A pleasure as always. And catch you hopefully at some point over the next few weeks at the championship. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.